Somewhere along the way, the big platforms moved in. Last year, $200 billion flowed upwards, away from the people who actually play. This year, they take it back. YOM, where players play games straight from your PC, not a data center in Virginia. Meet Tyler Pemberton. Yes, this looks dramatic, but he's perfectly fine. Tyler's offline. His PC isn't. 47 players streaming from his GPU right now. Even AFK, Tyler's rig is pulling its weight. He's making money in his sleep. Maybe this is what happens when gamers finally take control of their own world. Turn your idle GPU into passive income. YOM.net. Eat, sleep, earn, repeat.
Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, or good morning, depending on where you in the world are and where you're joining us from. Thanks so much for stopping by and joining our town hall. We have got a guest in a few bits. We're going to bring up Dirk in a few minutes, but I wanted to quickly touch on some stuff for the community. We kind of get you all warmed up and looking at how the project is lining up. Again, if you're just joining us for the first time, the commercial kind of spells it out what we are. We're a decentralized cloud network. Which makes us about 95% cheaper than any other cloud gaming system for the publishers and for the players. So it's just a better system for streaming games. And that's why we're saying it's a huge change. Dirk and I are going to go into it. There's been some news that's dropped that's just kind of unbelievable stuff that I wasn't even fully aware of, and Dirk kind of brought to my attention. But let's first start with as we normally do. Our mascot is Walter, our rust-colored ape. Slightly overweight. Let me swap that. Slightly overweight. Generally, he wears jeans and a t-shirt. But once again, we've got some great posts. People are taking our mascot and generating their own images. This is from Master Kelvin, who every week seems to bring it out and crush it. But you'll know it's Walter because he's got rust-colored fur and the round blue sunglasses on. Of course, the YOM logo helps us out too. But this is looking really good. Thank you, Master Calvin. I actually think as much as I like this one, but the fur coming out of the jacket kind of looks a little odd. So that's AI. You can't help that. I'm going to give the prize this week to Lin Lat Ong over here, who I think did a good job kind of pointing out we did win the Best Game Tech Startup Award. We beat out I think there were 500 applicants, whittled it down to 10 finalists, and sure enough, we won that award. This is at Gamescom in England. So it was obviously a great honor to win that award. People are kind of recognizing that, yes, the idea of a decentralized cloud system kind of gets better than the cost. You get better, better speed, lower latency, everything that decentralization gives you or computing on the edge gives you. We've done it for games and focused solely on games, making us really the only ones who can give performance like we give. So thank you. This is a great image. I appreciate that. And that, to me, that's Walter. He hit it dead on. But we also posted this week, we were asking people to, and I started at the bottom, but I'll start at the top, give us your Easter eggs, because with Easter that had just passed, we thought it'd be nice to see some people's take on what a YOM Easter egg collection might look like. And we had some great posts. I think for me, my favorite, this one was pretty good. I think my favorite, that was a really nice one as well. But I went with this one right here by Peyote. That to me was pretty stellar. It's a nice YOM egg. There were still some other great ones too, and of course Walter. Appreciate that. All right. I think I've stalled enough. I think enough people. Actually, this one was another really nice one. Didn't want to leave that one off. I think I've stalled enough for getting people in. Let's hit some of the industry news that I saw this week, because this kind of blew my. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let's go first to the Quest dashboard. EJ once again crushing it. As has been the case in the last couple of weeks, just always on top of the leaderboard. But other new players, Dreams Growth is I think new to me. I'm not sure that I recognize. I've seen that up in the top slots before. The new season is starting soon, so this is coming to a close. We're going to see some people, the gates kind of close and reopen as new quests and get launched. There's going to be some more news about that. I'm actually trying to pin down if we can have a guest next week at this time to go through the community stuff. Should be ready to go by then, but I'll keep you posted. Watch our socials and you'll know. All right, some quick industry news. This, again, blew my mind. I've been on a jag. If you pay attention, and I did a broadcast on Wednesday night, but I know in Europe that's very, very late, talking about what IGN has kind of called out as a real concern for the gaming industry, and that is the rising cost of hardware, memory, and everything else. It's driving the console prices up through the roof. PlayStation, it's being predicted that the PlayStation 6 is going to release at $1,000. That's a huge price tag for a game console. So much so that everyone's kind of pointing out, IGN being one of them, that the demographics for the gamers is going to be really, really thin if this is the price point that the consoles come off at. And I was pointing out on Wednesday that the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox X Series, they have increased their prices as the console got older instead of decreasing. Generally, what usually happened was, as the system got older, they would drop the price towards the end of the console's life cycle, so they could kind of rope in those last people who were holding out and not yet buying the system, or for those people who, when the new system comes out, they would say, well, I can't afford the new system, it's brand new, but the last generation is now in my price range. And when they compare the two, they feel like, oh, it's a little bit cheaper, so I'll go ahead and buy the older generation. It comes to the end of its life cycle. That has not been the case. PlayStation cranked their price up, as did the Xbox, at the end of the life cycle, which is like crazy. But they're caught in this cycle where the hardware has gotten so expensive, the memory, the demand for memory because of AI, has just driven the price up so high that they can't still produce those units without raising the price. And that's a danger for the whole gaming industry, right? It's going to price people out of the gaming industry. We're already losing. The thought was we're already losing to the other social media platforms, all those other forms of entertainment that are instant. And IGN did point out, and fortunately this is all helping us out, that a cloud gaming system that actually works well and that is easy to access can surpass that low friction barrier that players now want to find, right? And of course, the cost comes way down, because with the YOM system, you can use your laptop that you're using for homework. You can use your phone, which everyone has a phone anyways, to play these high quality games. You're not stuck any longer with the smaller games. Now with the streaming services like ours, they can play those high powered games off their phone. So it's going to change, again, to not just change, but save the gaming demographic, right? To bring people back into the gaming industry, or allow people who haven't yet played these high quality games access to it, because a compute is happening off of our network, which is happening at the edge, low latency, and available through any URL inside of Telegram, inside of Discord, all these things that we offer with our systems. So as far as onboarding, all these warnings, all these concerns that IGN is raising, we agree those are real concerns. Unfortunately, we've been building into a solution for the past 3 years. And to that end, let's go ahead and bring up our guest today, who has been part of this expansion and part of this revolution, you can call it, for the past, I think, 2 years at least. Maybe I think we determined a little bit longer than 2 years you've been with us, Dirk. Dirk was started off as an engineer on our project, but we recently kind of recognized that there was a missing link between the tech team and the business goals, the business dev teams. And it was a role that both Rohan, our CTO, and Yorit, our CEO, they were both doing parts of this role, but their other parts of their roles were so big that they were starting to get kind of crowded out. And it was determined that, well, a product owner is what's really needed. Someone who sees both sides of that and can kind of organize and coordinate and do road mapping and scheduling for both teams. And so then once we determined that a role like that needed to be created and filled, then it became, well, then who can fill it? And Dirk's background and his attitude leads to it's a good fit for what he's done in the past, and having come off the tech team to see the tech team stuff and their struggles. So Dirk, welcome to the welcome to the town
Thank
hall.
you. Thank you.
Big
Hello,
intro.
everyone. I hope you can hear me fine.
Yeah, I can crank you up just a little bit more too. You've been on the town hall before, but generally you were like in the side chair with either Jorrit or I think Robert too, right?
I've been side sharing with Jorrit, with Robert, and Rowan, I think.
Now you got the stage to yourself. You can go ahead and go long if you want to, and then you don't have to worry about being cut up by anybody else.
Yeah, I find it really funny. It's because usually when I mention or I mentioned I'm gonna be part of the town hall, and it's like I'm gonna jump in with you. That's fun. We do it together. It's like it's great. Yeah, I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me make sure I get the chat up window too, so we can see what people are saying. So it's a bit of a promotion, right? You're getting into a new role, but again, still using everything you've known from being on the tech team for the time you were on there. But I thought we'd start with like a little bit of background. Like you've been with us for again like 2 years, but you have a logistics background before that, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about how you even found YOM, and then what you've been doing for the past 2 years.
Yeah, it's actually quite a funny story. I was doing supply chain management before I joined YOM. And basically, the company where I was working at, the supply chain was sort of optimized, and I was basically getting a bit bored with it. It was really not fun. And then they made bins that have a pressing arm in it, and I started to actually doing more mechanical things with it. And then I was like, but that's not why I signed up for. And then I met Jorrit through Robert, a good friend of mine. And he was like, we need developers, and we need this, we need that. And then he showed me the product. And I was like, I didn't believe it at first, because I was a gamer. I was like, cloud gaming, everyone is trying it. It never worked. So I'm skeptical. And then he explained how it worked, and then he showed me the demo, and I was like, okay, this seems to be working. So basically, on the spot, I said to him, I can bring my PC here. I cannot code, but if you have time and you're willing, I can become a developer. So I moved my PC, and I basically made 12-hour days. And that's how I'm here.
But it all worked out well, because as we the word, I think it made sense to us that you'd fit into the role that we put you in, was even before then, when you were handling all the logistics for getting the nano devices made and shipped correctly, right? That was you had a heavy hand in that. You were people who are alpha testers know your name already, because you've been in the alpha tester channels helping them out as a key communicator to them, as we did upgrades to the nano device, and we shipped a new flash a new version out and everything. You were part of the communication channel, but also to the manufacturer itself, right? You were kind of warning us, this is the steps, this is the things that we need to have the manufacturer do to ensure that we have good shipping.
It's SSDs is one of those, or portable things. Basically, small tech stuff gets stolen a lot. So you want to make sure that contractually, in that sense, you want to cover yourself already, because some things are going to go missing.
Yep. All right. Well, tell people again so when this role was kind of brought to you and asked if you would step into that role, how was it described, or how would you describe the role of someone, if your aunt came to you and said, "Now what are you doing?" How would you explain it to an aunt who knows nothing about the?
I think a bit of background is a bit important in this sense. It's the tech team is working really hard, and basically, because we're so agile, we're so small, and everyone is so passionate, it became a bit out of hand. It's I could log in Saturday night at 2 a.m., see if people are online, and I could join the call with Rowan and Patrick, for example, because they were fixing something.
Right.
And then at some point, Rowan got more tasks, Johan got more tasks, and everyone got more tasks, and the scope of what we could do. And that's of course a good thing, because like we had like a vision, and then we realized it's okay, it's maybe a bit small for what we want. We can go way bigger, and then we decided, yeah, we go way bigger, and that's why we have the new Pixel streamer that can stream not only Unreal but everything. Um, but with that said, it's like some direction was needed in that sense, and because Rowan and Jorrit didn't have the time because they had a lot of stuff to do, um, they were like, "Yeah, you can do that," and I was like, "Yes, I can try doing that." So yeah, and
And so you've gone out and started meeting with, and I know that you asked me some questions. I imagine you asked everybody those same questions
yeah,
about what the friction points were, where could improvement happen. And I imagine you had some themes that ran through all the various answers from both the tech team and the biz dev team and the marketing group.
yeah.
Any high level insights to everybody's responses?
It was basically the response was sort of unanimous from everyone. It's like, yeah, it's really fun, but like some direction is nice. So not 5 projects at the same time. Let's do that in order instead of like all at once.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, you and I were talking earlier, and I've said it a number of times that with a startup, and with us having so many different avenues to what will eventually happen and be successful, you can't finish 10 parts of the project at 80%, but nothing at 100%. That just doesn't work. So you gotta actually pick and choose. Like, we're gonna finish this one first, maybe start this one while we're finishing the first, but like put them in order and get something to 100%, get a couple of things to 100%. Which is not to say we didn't, because obviously testnet is live and we're running games live, but I think the next steps were we could have gone 3 or 4 different directions, and it was we started on each of them.
yeah, I think like this is something that is actually a funny problem to have. Is like, this is my opinion, of course. It's like I think our people are too good at what they do, so that introduces a lot of new features and ways of doing things. So like it has to be better, perfect, and has some niche angle to it, and that it's all worked out very cleanly. So yeah, that sometimes takes a bit more time because it's well done, too well done, a bit over engineered.
We have actually a good question that kind of from the people who are listening in on at this point that kind of fits really, really well into the conversation we're having at this. Usually I go to questions at the end, but this seems like well timed. So we're talking about prioritization, but what are the criteria for putting something as a higher priority? Now, again, to be fair, folks, he's been at this for about a week, so let's not press him too hard here at the beginning. But what do you think right now the criteria would be?
There is like it's very simple actually how you manage prioritization. It's like, what is the return on investment if we do something? So basically, if you have your resources, it's okay. If we spend this much time and resources on something, what is the return that we get, and how does that fit in our business strategy? Is like, is it something that is very niche and is very nice to have, but doesn't contribute to the bigger picture? Then maybe we park it, we pause it, and we review it when we have the time for it. But if it's something major, and I can name, for example, the Nano V2 version, the upgraded version, yeah, that is just the highest priority. Is like that will increase the network. It will help with the shipping because that's what we're going to ship. And basically everything around that. So that's the highest priority. And then some other things that are very nice to have, for example, is like some more detailed logging and some extra pipelines for fixing bugs that you don't have to do it manually. Like those are very nice to have, and we still need to do that. But I would say at this point, like, we are not going to do that now.
Right. And your role, because again, it was similar to a role that I used to do, back when I was doing games for hire. You get competing outside forces, not really outside forces, not necessarily competing, but say the biz dev team or the marketing team comes to you and says, well, wait a minute, this really big partner, this actually is a real case, we won't say the name, but this really big partner could give us a partnership announcement if we go ahead and just, do these 5 things for them. But you make a very good case to say, well, if we do those 5 things and it's only a partnership announcement versus we've got V2 to ship, and that'll get us our nodes out there, the first set of nodes that were sold out into the market and then further extend the network. And the ones that are currently running on the alpha, the test network, they get to get upgraded too, so they run faster and run better. Like when you look weigh those two things in a partnership announcement from a big name or functioning software that's better, like you can make an argument for either side, but I think it's kind of on you to kind of make the argument for the sides that should win.
Yeah, so it all depends, right? So we could say the big partner gives us an offer that we cannot refuse, and that it's worth to delay our timeline for. But if it's not that, then yeah, I'm sorry. Then we have to choose for like what we intend to do. In that sense, the main goal, the main project is we want to get shipping as fast as possible because like the prices of everything is so expensive. And what I really like about YOM is like we are this symbiotic system. It's like we capture everyone. We capture the studios, we capture the infrastructure, we capture the players, and we even let players earn if they have their own gaming rig. It's like a complete circle. And I think now is the time to get it out because it's only going to get worse, the pricing.
Right. Yeah, it's a great role, and again, because really, as soon as it was mentioned to me that this is something that we're position we want to create, and then they dropped your name into the consideration, I was like, it seems like a no brainer to me. It was my answer probably didn't. Yeah, well, no problem, but it's true. I mean, it needed to happen, and it needed someone who understood the product really well, but then also understood like getting organized and getting managed. You and I were talking a little bit too beforehand about the difference between a startup and a mega corp, because I've spent plenty of time in both, and I including some time at Facebook, and the ability to adjust your schedule quickly inside of Facebook was just non-existent. You had a long roadmap, and you had to follow it to the letter. And to make a change, you're talking about, well, we can do that in about 2 years. And the startup, that window is much, much shorter, and that's part of the power of a startup is it can be super flexible, but that flexibility can also be a trap, right? Because then again, you're switching so many times that you never finish anything. You get everything to 60 or 80%. But I think you and I were talking about that. You kind of understand that same concept, yeah.
Yeah, like I think like this is one of the biggest weaknesses of big companies at the moment. Is like it's not agile anymore, right. And like this is super agile, and I'm of the opinion is like it's better just to do it and then like maybe adjust on the way than like wait forever and not do it.
Yeah.
It's like some things just you have to try it. It's like take some risks. Sometimes.
All right, so now we've had roadmap and we're pretty well. I would say we're far along in it, but you always want to reevaluate the roadmap, and certainly the Mika stuff put a big roadblock in us that we had to kind of wait and work around, but that didn't stop the tech from building. Would you say that? Where am I? Would you agree that we're as far as like our plan for the first half of the year, we're fairly well along besides that one TGE kind of stall?
So a bit of double answer to this is like what the initial goal was. Like we well exceeded it. Only we expanded the goal along the way. So we're behind due to our own making in that sense. So I think we are very well in a good position right now.
And then, so is the next step for you then to map out into Q2 and then it's Q3 and 4? Is that the part of the plan for you?
So I'm basically revised the system how we do things. I think the quarterly things, they are still relevant in that sense. But what you also said with being agile is like we gonna do it on month-to-month basis. And like that is blocked into like single weeks. Because the speed that things are getting done it makes no sense to wait for it, basically.
Right.
So it's going to be like hopefully faster and cleaner, and like we will also be focusing on a bit more outward communication, and also some thoughts or like things why choices are made. And of course, like for example, the V2 version. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that we are gonna get that out this month. the actual version. And of course, we will display or demo that, or we will have a chat about that, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think I agree with you too. In my conversations with Ron and you're both, I think V2 is well within. It's in the goal posts the way that we had aligned them to be, like back in, I guess, early March, right? So it seems like we're going to hit that one okay. I think TG, and again we get the comment in here. TG is the last unagile thing in YOM, and I would say it is. Again, the Mika stuff is about actually closed at this point. Just before we went live, I don't know if you saw the message, but it looks like we had the DTI in hand and approved. So we're inside that window of our. Let's find out when we can actually put this thing out there, put the token live. So that's finally. I mean, it took us a little while to get. Of course, that's because of. And if you want to hear Dirk and I rail for a bit, we'll talk about government regulations and how much fun those are for both of us. Because I think we're of one mind in that sense. But that's crossed off the list, and we can say yes, it is not an agile thing. It is a high priority.
The government is definitely not an agile thing.
Well, I think they're going to finally get out of our way, and that's kind of the whole point, right? So the other thing I wanted to talk about, and you again, you and I were talking beforehand, but the Jag I've been on recently, like you're saying, the cost of hardware is just going through the roof. The cost of memory is going through the roof, and it's going to have a knock-on effect to the industry entirely. So again, we get this opportunity for, like, everyone else's hardship is our opportunity, because when they start pricing themselves out of access for most players, we have the system, like you're saying, that not only opens up the doors for people to be able to play on their small laptop or on their phone these high quality games, but also if they've got the rig, they can earn money, passive income from loaning their rig to our network, and they get paid, again, just for letting us use their unused GPU cycles, which is that money itself that they're earning, some of it's going to funnel its way back into the gaming industry and allow people to buy more games. But you pointed out to me, I was talking to you about the Sony, the $1,000 for the console. I had not heard this before. Let me bring up that link that I had. Where did I put it? Oh yeah, over here. Bring it up over here so I can see it. This is crazy town to me, and I didn't know that they were doing this, but you found it. Talk to me about this dynamic pricing.
The dynamic pricing, like I'm not sure if it's like official yet, because they got like a lot of backlash for it. But basically, the gist of it is that if you buy more games, the games will get more expensive for you instead of cheaper. And if you don't buy any games over a period of time, you get discounts to make it more egalitarian or equal in that sense. I think that is the death of consumer market right there. It's like
the thinking is, this person spends a lot of money on games, so we'll just kind of creep the price up on them because they're already a committed buyer. And then the person who doesn't buy a lot of games, they drop the price down lower and lower, kind of waiting to see where the floor is that allows them that incentivizes them to purchase in. That is crazy town.
Well, this trend of like getting punished for like everything, basically. It's like everything in the gaming industry is now punishing you for no reason. Your gaming rig is more expensive. You get dynamic pricing on games. You don't own any games. It's like to me, it's just like a real attack on gaming in itself.
Yeah, and I don't know that I don't know that I would call it an attack. I think it's they're groping around to find some way to still make the money that they need to make in order to stay viable. And in a sense, we're part of that. We're part of that search. Their search is to thin out the margin, so they're not paying. So people don't know this necessarily, but in the Apple Store, 30% of your profit if you sell a game through the Apple Store goes to Apple. They're the biggest. They make the most money, most revenue of any company in the gaming space, and they don't make a single game, Apple, because they take 30% of everything that ships through the Apple Store. It's crazy. It's madness. So when we talk about our system and our ability to stream games through any URL or inside of Telegram or Discord, that 30% that a studio or a publisher might lose to the Apple Store, they get to now keep in their pocket, right? That's actually pretty massive. So the idea of we're fitting in that space where if they're trying to get more money out of the margins, we can help them with that in a much better way than doing dynamic pricing on the games that they offer, which is just the backlash is real, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to the comments yet. Let's I like to jump down to the comments because these can be pretty.
I like talking.
And I don't usually. Usually it's more Microsoft that I'm bashing on. I don't bash on Sony too often, but let's see. Sony testing is embarrassing because it gives different players different prices. Yep, I mean everything that we're saying too, right?
Yeah.
People. So IGN saying hopefully the legislation will make this practice illegal. I mean, I don't think you want to rely on legislation to help you out here, because you and I both agree, getting government involved in these kinds of things, it serves to backlash.
Yeah.
You'd think the government would say, no, we like the dynamic prices because when you raise the price, we get more tax dollars.
So this is one thing in the Netherlands is we don't have access to every game. For example, Diablo Immortal is not legal in the Netherlands.
Oh, really?
Because I think it's predatory systems. So there's in the Netherlands there's actually rules already. And on the one hand, I'm like, the government should never tell me what to do with my money. But on the other hand, I'm like, this one, it's like, I like that got punished in a sense, in a way.
Well,
the double.
So I know that there's recently laws passed too in the States when things like loot boxes, right? If it's considered a game of chance, and there's no skill at all involved, then it's considered gambling if there's any kind of outside monetary value to that loot box. And I guess I agree with that too, because gambling, which has become like a big thing for so many people, it's also terribly addictive. But I was just saying, so, hey, my hockey team made the playoffs this season. I'm super excited about that. But I was watching the game last night, and every other commercial was for like a sports betting app. And that's, people are just getting sucked into this, and they're losing their money just for the adrenaline rush. In my day, it was simpler. Your adrenaline rush came from the game you were playing, not from a game you were watching.
I'm banned from most betting platforms.
Banned by who? By yourself?
No, by them. It's like I like arbitrage betting. So just have like multiple ones and compare the odds. And if the odds are like a win-win, so like you only lose if they tie. So for example, you would do party A has like odds 10-1, and the other one has that, and you bet 10 on both, and like it doesn't matter which team wins, you always win money.
So you've been doing these betting apps for a little bit deeper into it than I have.
Yeah, but as like, for example, like the statistics of getting like a tie, for example, in the UFC or something, statistics of a tie is it's laughable. Like this, it's not happening. It's not happening. And if it happens once in a while, then okay.
It's worth the loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what didn't we touch on? We should probably take some. I did actually have some community questions from this week inside of our social media. We've had some questions come up. Let me make sure I don't miss out on answering some of those. Where are we? Here we go. TGE Day, of course, is always a question that comes up 100 times. So let me bring these notes over here so I can read them. Obviously, we don't have a TGE date yet, because if we had one, we'd be screaming it from the mountaintops. But now that we have the DTI in hand, and actually, like I said, that just happened before we broadcast. So I imagine that's going to be a big part of our discussion this weekend with the guys is what do we do about how do we set, and we have to work with our partners in the exchanges and everything to find a window that makes sense to everybody. But as soon as we have one, I expect we're going to announce it. Season 2, I've talked about that already. That's coming out soon, and you're going to have a major announcement for that. I really would like to get this whole town hall next week to be all about Season 2, but I don't know that I'm going to free up your room to attend. We'll see. And then we had this really cool question that came from the community asking about, do we have like the suggestion was that the community member wanted to grab some of their friends and form like their own cluster of nodes wherever they're located and kind of share it as a pool So we have a referral system. If you were to purchase a node, if you purchase a Nano from us, and then you can get a link, like a referral code from your dashboard, and then you send a friend of yours to also purchase a node. If they purchase a node with your referral link, you get a portion of their I want to say it's a portion of their earnings, but it could just be just a single reward. So that's a referral code system. But I'm sorry, go ahead. You want to jump in?
Like it sounds like a bit like a DAO, right? Instead, it's like
basically what he's suggesting is some sort of a DAO where he and a group of his friends all purchase nodes and operate them, and then they I don't know if it's a plan for them to share profits, or if it's just a matter of they have their own little cluster. When Jeroen saw that, he thought it was a great idea, and we should do something to incentivize that. So I think we're going to talk next week about how much we like this idea and what we can do to support it, because that would be awesome. There are I was looking at the rig check numbers from the past couple of weeks, because I'm putting together another article, and Southeast Asia has got a huge cluster. There's so many, and which is great because there's so much gaming that happens there. And I think the YOM network supporting the gaming community there would be super valuable, both to the gaming community and to us. So, and I think that's where this question was coming out of Southeast Asia. So anything we can do to support this idea, I think we're going to go track down and find if with this way we can do this.
Yeah, like everything hinges on the shipping, basically. If the V2 is ready and we're going to ship, then we're going to get coverage, and then people will be able to host their clusters and their nodes. Hopefully as soon as possible. We're working on it, guys.
I'm wondering what's necessary for that. If it's can we do a portion of each transaction to several different wallets and split it, or do they? It'd probably just as easy for them to all just get a group wallet, and we just drop it into that one group wallet, and they can decide how to divide it however they want to. But
I think it's a very good to check the legal frameworks for this, because there's a lot of rules around this. That depends per country. So like before anything, I would suggest is like check the rules in your country first.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case even for individual Nano owners. There's going to be some places where your earnings, depending on it, because I know in the States the tax laws are getting very interested in what goes on in the Web3 space, and your earnings from your Nano device, I imagine would be. We want to say it's kind of as income and not as capital gains, but I don't know. This is something that has to be figured out.
I think there's like a two-stage part of it, right? So from let's say the operator to the person that owns it. So that's one wallet transaction. I think that is still not considered income, because like it's still in asset form, because it's still a token. It's like if you trade, for example, a token from you make profit on that trade, like you don't necessarily have to pay income tax over the profit of your trade, but as soon as you get it out, then
again, folks, this is not tax advice or legal advice. No. We're no experts. Let's not pretend.
No. Experts. No financial advice.
Not financial advice, but buy gold and silver. Not financial advice.
No, yeah. But like the only advice like that is like check check the laws in your country. Just make sure you don't cross them, because like or do cross them and get arrested. But like that's a choice.
But it wasn't our fault. We told you to check.
We told you. Yeah.
I will make another push for people to check out the rig check. Right, the rig check I think was recently created. I think pushed it out today. Right. So if you have already done a rig check and maybe you got back, my computer is not powerful enough to be a node, because again there is a floor, or you have to reach a certain your system has to run so much speed in order to host a node, because you are going to be running some other people's games off of your system. And I think the floor right now is RTX 2060, but the better your graphics card, the more concurrent streams you can host, and so the more licenses you want to purchase, so you can maximize your returns. But again, all that is done through the rig check that what we said, and I think Dirk, you were probably part of the push for this, right? We don't want to ship a bunch of nano devices to people whose systems are underpowered and have them shipped back to us, because that's a huge headache.
There's nothing worse than getting your nano and you're all excited, and then you plug it in, you set it up, and then you realize it's not working.
Yeah.
Like that, like we wanted to prevent that feeling from coming in.
Yeah, right.
That's just horrible, horrible experience, and we want people to have the best experience. So in that sense, do the rig check like Jeff recommended. We optimized the nano like quite a lot, so it will handle way better. So that will also impact the floor. I would say like depending like, and I would say 20 series, yes. And maybe for some OG people, if you have like a 1080 Ti overclock, then maybe. But it's kind of those drivers are not longer supported, so that's like not a safe bet. But maybe.
But yeah, I think officially we're saying 2060 is the floor, but certainly run the rig check. It's app.yom.net/rig check. You'll walk through the sign-in page and everything, and then run that check, and that'll tell you not just your system being powerful enough, but also your bandwidth. If you're on this is right now we're currently configured Ethernet only, right? It can't be done through Ethernet cable, right? Not through Wi-Fi, and that's again for speed purposes. But if you run the rig check before and your system is in that range, and for some reason it was giving you a negative, run the check again. I think it's a smart move to do, because we've got a little more granular, and as you're saying, we've got the systems to run a little bit faster. So we've dropped down some of those criterias.
So it's still NVIDIA only.
Right. I did got a question here. If I run 2 rigs at home, do I need 2 nanos? Yes, you do. Well, wait a minute. I take that back. Depends. If you're going to run 2 rigs at the same time, yes, each one needs a device. If you're going to run one and then swap to the other because you're actually, maybe I'm wrong, Dirk. Do you know if can they take the nano device from one machine to another machine, or do they need to have a dedicated machine ID? They can do that. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're going to run 2 concurrently, you absolutely you need 2 nano devices. Maybe we should.
Sorry. No, it's not relevant.
Yeah. So if people don't recognize, the nano device is an SSD with an operating system that basically becomes the brains to your GPU and CPU. So basically, we don't install anything on your hard drive. We don't run your hard drive. Your data is separated. It's firewalled away from the game data. And in the same way, the game data is firewalled away from you. When you're running the nano, you don't have access to that hard drive because it's got game data in there. It's encrypted. So again, this is a firewall for the safety of yourself and the safety of the game publishers. This is the divide. But yes, again, it'd be like trying to run a machine without a hard drive in. Yes, you need a device for each rig.
Yeah, the security bit, heavily involved in that, and like the first rule of security is never tell how your security works. But we spend quite a lot of time on that to make it as robust as possible.
Right.
And
another question.
We done it. Yeah.
When can we expect global coverage and functions like autosave? Well, let me jump to autosave real quick. Autosave can be on the game developer themselves, right? They can put in autosaves, and because most of these games are using their own database to store player information anyways in progress. So the autosave is probably it's a game dependent thing, not necessarily relying on our network. In global coverage, man, we've got chances to do this within Q3, Q4, right?
So like the global coverage is also hand in hand with the V2 launch. Especially as soon as we start shipping, we try to cover as much regions as physically possible. And the game state saving, like we have like some methods basically that we are like exploring in that sense as well. And something is called maybe I need to explain it a bit. It's like you make a string. That's basically a snapshot of a game state. And basically, if you would like save that string in a cookie or paste that string, the game would know like, okay, I was at this point of the game with these items at this stage. This was my seed basically, and then like it's also sort of a safe game.
Right. But a lot of this is again, Also, they have that save game function. Look at you drinking that Red Bull. That's not going to help your cough. What happened to tea and lemon?
So it's like it's a long day today.
I understand. I got one more question too. When do I become rich? Nerdgasm, we're not giving financial advice. You become rich when you work hard and dedicate yourself to your life's passion. And I'll say it 100 times. Rich is not. There's financially rich, and then there's rich. So if you've got a lot of knowledge, you've got a lot of friends, you've got a good spirit, you're already rich. And then
You're
you
part
might
of
become
YOM.
financially rich. What's that?
You're part of the YOM community. You're kind of
There you
rich
go.
already.
There you go. Treat yourself accordingly. Did I get to all the questions? If there are last questions, someone asked if we can talk about the token a bit. Lip lock. I'd like to what part of the token would you like us to hit? Because if you don't understand what the token does, that is our payment mechanism for the people who are operating their Nano device. So what happens is game developers, they purchase time on the network, and then they purchase it in fiat. We convert that at the time of their purchase into YOM tokens that we put into a pool that goes to the game, the node operators. So as a game session ends, at that moment, we drop the YOM tokens into the wallet that's associated with that Nano device. So you're banking them at all times, and you have access to them as soon as you've earned them. So you could sell them immediately. You could keep on banking them in your wallet until you decide to cash out. So that's how the whole system works. And that's the reason for the YOM token is it serves as the transfer value for the time that they've purchased and the time that your machine has allowed them to gain. The split is for every YOM token, every 10 YOM tokens, 55% go to the project's budget, 40% goes to the Nano operator, and 5% gets burned. So what we're doing is over time, we're burning a portion of the YOM circulating supply at all times. What did I not cover about the YOM token, Dirk?
I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it. It was spot on.
All right. So any other questions? When moon is, I think we're in quarter moon tonight. Let's see. How many extra licenses to be able to run more streams? Where can I buy or use the ones purchased from for NAS last year? So the ones for NAS last year, we've got to get those out to the operators now that we've moved from the other chain onto Avalanche. So that is forthcoming. Every license that you purchase, for every stream that you want to host, you purchase an extra license, right? So the Nano device comes with a single license, and then you add additional licenses to those if you want to run more streams concurrently. And that's what the rig check is supposed to do. It'll tell you about how many streams you can run concurrently.
So if I can add into this, because I think he mentioned NAS, right?
Yes.
So in that sense, if we going to centralized partners and also make it so that you can just have a license that, for example, AWS would host a machine for you. That is in the pipeline, but it's not coming soon.
Okay. So hold on that idea, but we are thinking about now. There's ways to take those licenses that we had some people in the community purchase. Is there a way that we can convert those, or even make those available to people who are operating nodes? So, say I operate a node, but I've only purchased I've only got the license that came with the node, but my system could run more than one stream.
Yes.
You've got a NAS license that you're not using yet. Maybe you loan it over to the person who's operating a Nano. That's a system we probably could think about doing to make a quicker window. But again, this will also be put into Dirk's roadmap that he's going to be working on.
So for the Nano, you still need a license. So yeah, if you want to scale that up, that is also coming. That's in the pipeline as well.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that people are asking about the additional licenses, because it sounds like they may already be operating. Like I said mistakenly that I have a 3060 running my Nano here, but it's actually a 4070. My son ran downstairs after that broadcast. It's like, that's a 4070. I put a 4070 in that box. Don't tell me you got a 3060. My regular system's a 3060. I'm like, okay, relax. Anyways, Yeah, people are saying if they've got that higher device, when do we get how can they purchase the extra licenses along with their Nano device that they purchased? I don't think we have that system up yet. Do we? You probably. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I know we have to come up with a timeline for when we release
So
it.
it is in the pipeline. We're working on it, but like yeah, it's coming. We have not like fully decided how we're gonna do it. It's in the discussion. We have some basics already built up for it, so it's not that we have not started at it, but it is like okay, there's a lot of things that you need to consider when you do this. And that is, for example, like we want to make sure that every container that we spawn has the same capacity. So, like, even if you say like you can run 6 concurrent, if that impacts like one of them, even slightly, then it's already not good in my opinion. So just maintaining that integrity that every container basically runs the game properly without fail on the same strength as the other containers. But that approach is something we need to nail down and we need to test thoroughly because like there's no worse feeling if you buy an extra license and then like your games like you're hosting less basically because like it gets rejected.
Right.
That cannot be the case. So yeah, that is. And there's also like another topic on the games. For example, if you play Call of Duty Warzone, that is going to use way more resources than, let's say, a karaoke game that you can sing.
Right.
So like we cannot treat those as equal either. So like if we upgrade your license, then it needs to have some logic to that. That what does that entail? It's like, is it because you can run 2 Call of Duty games or 10 karaoke games? Then the pricing needs to be relevant to what you're putting out, basically.
Right. And,
But
and again, folks, he's been at the job for and been this role anyways for only a week. So let's not put his let's not put him to the wall. I got 2 more questions popped up. I thought AWS is too expensive to run nodes on. Why offering this option at all? I think Dirk was using AWS as a default. But we're not really talking about AWS as partners for the NAS. We're talking about smaller distributors.
So the thing is, right, is like we do not recommend AWS as an option in that sense. But that's why the priority shifted also to a lower priority. But there are some people that really like just making like a very small profit while running on AWS. Like people have asking that a lot. So in that sense, like it is good for like our coverage and for all that stuff. So we are seriously considering it. Only we're not prioritizing it for now.
But so he's asking it's too expensive. It's not too expensive to run a node on. It's just it's going to cut your profits down considerably than if you were to run a node yourself or a NAS of another kind. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, like the system, or like if you run a lot of games, still like you will make a profit. You will get that expense basically out of it, but it's not as much.
Right. Or not as quickly. You wouldn't get your money back as quickly.
Yeah.
Right. We've been running they talk about here the node licenses. We're going to run our own marketplace or use a third party. I don't know if you know. Do you get an answer on that? Because I think what we've said in the past is if we find a third-party vendor who's got a system set up that we like and we're comfortable with, as opposed to building it ourselves, we would go with a partner who we could trust. If we have to build it ourselves, we've done a lot of that, building it ourselves. But I think it really depends on what we can find.
I honestly, I do not know. Like,
so you need to keep spare power on your rig or not max with licenses and streams.
So you come again?
Yeah. This is, I think, responsive to our last answer. So you need to keep spare power on your rig and not max with license and streams?
I don't think, maybe we explained it wrong in that sense. It's like for now we have like the limited license until we introduce the full like extra licenses. So you don't have to worry about it for now.
Right.
That is not there yet.
And I think people understand that we're saying that this is when your system is not being used. run the node. If you're going back to, like, I couldn't be doing this live stream and operating a node off of the same box. That doesn't happen at the same time. We
No,
take
you
over.
need a dedicated machine. Yeah.
Yeah, dedicated machine. You need, not dedicated as in you can't ever use it, but you can operate the node when you go to bed at night or go to work, and you come home and log out of the node and back into your system when you want to use the game for yourself. Right. I think that got to the end of the questions, and we are at a 55-minute mark. Generally, I try to keep these under an hour for the algorithm. All right, Dirk, people obviously can reach out to you through our public telegrams and Discord, but really, you might also give him some space to get some work done, because he's got a lot on his plate now coming forward. But we appreciate everyone. Go ahead.
I want to apologize to everyone on the Discord for my slow reactions. Was a bit chaotic there last week.
Yeah, but again, so appreciative of you taking on the task. It's a big task, but I think we put it in the right hands. So very excited to see what you come up with.
That means a lot to me, Jeff. Thank you.
Sure. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in again. If you found some part of our information really helpful, you can follow us at YOM.net. Obviously, we have Telegram. Discord is actually probably the better place to go if you're a Discord user. That would be the next place. And of course, on X as YOM_official, another way to follow along. If you haven't done the rig check and you're thinking about it, it's app.yom.net/rig check. I would advise you go there. I'll put the link in the first comment into the YouTube video. And as I say always, Dirk, you want a last word? I'll give you a last word.
Yeah. So I do want to say something, if that's
Sure.
So the first batches of the nodes are like, we have limited supply. So if you want to be one of those people that is in the first real batch, this is the time. This is the time, because the first batch is going to be limited, because we don't have like that much, and we are nearly sold out. So hurry up.
So you get those at freshminers.com/YOM, or I think you search for YOM on freshminers.com. There are distribution partners, and they've got the nodes ready to or almost ready to go. We're waiting for the V2 to be finished, but that's a good point. Thanks, thanks, Dirk, for pointing it out. Okay, everybody, be good to yourselves, be good to other people, drink lots of water. We will talk again on Wednesday if you're able to attend at 1 a.m. East, your Central European time, but out here it's 7 o'clock at night or 4 o'clock on the west coast of the U.S. And if not, we'll see you again here next week at the same time. Thanks, Dirk. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.